I was 30 seconds away from sending $1,500 to a stranger. My finger was hovering over the confirm transfer button on my phone. The apartment looked perfect. The price was right. The landlord seemed professional. And then I stopped. Not because I saw something obvious, not because the website looked fake, but because of something small. Something in one of the photos that didn't make sense. The landlord had sent me pictures of the apartment, beautiful pictures, hardwood floors, granite counters, big windows with natural light. But in one of those pictures, I could see a reflection in the window. And in that reflection, I could see a street sign. The sign said Main Street, Dallas. The apartment was supposed to be in Houston. That's when I knew this was a scam, and I had almost fallen for it. Let me tell you how it happened, how I almost lost everything, and how one tiny detail saved me. Before I tell you what happened, if you're new here, subscribe. Turn on notifications. I don't want to lose you. These stories travel far. Tell me in the comments where you're listening from tonight. I like knowing who's sitting with me. I was looking for a new apartment in early 2024, and I was running out of time. My landlord had just raised my rent again, third time in 3 years, from $950 to $1,200. That's $250 more every month. Money I didn't have, not on my hospital kitchen salary. So I started looking. I sat at my kitchen table every night with my phone, scrolling through Zillow, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. Everything in my budget was either an hour from my job or in neighborhoods where I wouldn't feel safe walking to my car at night. I was getting frustrated. I was getting desperate. And that's when desperate people make mistakes. One evening, I saw an ad on Facebook that made me stop scrolling. I should have kept scrolling. I didn't. The ad said, "Beautiful one-bedroom apartment in Montrose, $850 a month. Hardwood floors, granite counters, walk-in closet. Available immediately." Montrose, that's a nice area. Close to downtown, close to my job, safe. And $850? That was a good price. Too good, maybe, but not impossible. Or so I told myself. I clicked on the profile. Alex Rodriguez. It looked normal. A few pictures, a few posts, nothing strange. I sent him a message. "Hi, I'm interested in the apartment. Is it still available?" He responded 5 minutes later. "Yes, still available. When can you come see it?" I said, "I can come this Saturday." He said, "Actually, I'm out of town this week for work, but I can send you pictures and a video tour. If you like it, we can do the application and lease online. That way you don't lose it to someone else." Someone else is interested. That should have been my first warning. But I thought, maybe this is how things work now. Everything is online. Everything is fast. I said, "Okay, send me the pictures." 10 minutes later, he sent me photos. The apartment was beautiful. Hardwood floors, white kitchen cabinets, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, a big window in the living room flooding the room with natural light, a walk-in closet in the bedroom. It looked perfect. He also sent me a video, a walkthrough of the apartment. Someone was narrating as they walked through each room. Here's the living room, nice and spacious. Here's the kitchen, brand new appliances. Here's the bedroom, plenty of closet space. The video looked real. It didn't look edited. I watched it 3 times. Then he sent another message. "What do you think? Do you want to apply?" Part of me, a small, quiet part, kept asking, why is this so cheap? Why is no one else taking it? But the desperate part, the tired part, the part that was scrolling through listings every night, that part said, Maybe I finally got lucky. I said, "Yes. How does the application work?" He sent me an application form. It looked professional. Name, address, income, employment history, references. I filled it out. I sent it back. The next day he messaged me. "Good news. You're approved. The apartment is yours if you want it." I felt relieved. Finally, something was going right. Then came the pressure. He said, "The deposit is $750. First month's rent is $850. Total is $1,600. But if you pay today, I'll waive the $50 application fee, so it's $1,550 total." $1,550. That was a lot of money. But I had it. I had been saving for a deposit. I said, "How do I pay?" He said, "I use Zelle. It's fast and secure. Once I receive the payment, I'll send you the keys and the signed lease." Zelle. I had used Zelle before, to send money to my daughter, to send money to my sister. It was easy. Too easy. I opened my banking app. I went to Zelle. I entered the amount, $1,550. I was about to hit send. And then something stopped me. Something felt wrong. Not obviously wrong, but wrong. I sat there with my thumb over the button, and I couldn't press it. I looked at the photos again, slowly, one by one. First photo, kitchen, beautiful, nothing wrong. Second photo, bedroom, clean, normal. Third photo, living room with the big window. I stopped. There was something in that window, a reflection. I zoomed in. My heart started beating faster. It was a street sign. I zoomed in more. I could barely make out the letters. Main Street. I grabbed my laptop. I opened Google Maps. I searched for the address he had given me. Westheimer Road, Montrose, Houston. There is no Main Street anywhere near Montrose, but there is a Main Street in Dallas. My hands started shaking. I went back to the photos. I looked more carefully. In another picture, I could see part of a business sign through the window. I zoomed in. Dallas Coffee Company. I searched for it. A coffee shop in Dallas. The apartment wasn't in Houston. The pictures were stolen from somewhere in Dallas. I went back to the Facebook profile. I looked at his photos more carefully. Some of them looked wrong, generic, like stock photos. I searched his name on Google. Alex Rodriguez, Houston, landlord. Nothing. I searched the phone number he gave me. And that's when I found it. A forum post from 2 months ago. Someone warning people about a rental scam. The same phone number, the same name, the same story. Alex Rodriguez wasn't a landlord. He was a scammer. And I had almost given him $1,500. I closed my banking app. I didn't send the money. I sat on my couch for a minute. My heart was racing. I felt sick to my stomach. I took screenshots of everything, the messages, the pictures, the video, the application form, the Zelle information. Then I did something most people don't do. I called him. He answered on the second ring. "Hello?" I said, "Is this Alex Rodriguez?" He said, "Yes, is this Rosa? Are you ready to send the payment?" I said, "I have a question first. Where is the apartment located?" He said, 1234 Westheimer Road, Montrose, Houston. I said, "Are you sure?" He paused. "Of course I'm sure. Why?" I said, "Because the pictures you sent me are from Dallas, not Houston. I can see a street sign in one of the photos, Main Street, and a coffee shop sign, Dallas Coffee Company. The apartment isn't in Houston." He was quiet for a moment. I could hear him breathing. Then he laughed. Not a friendly laugh. Cold, like I had told him a joke he'd heard 100 times before. He said, "You are very clever, Señora. Most people don't notice that." Señora. The word felt like a knife. I said, "So you admit it. This is a scam." He said, "I admit nothing, but you're right. The apartment isn't real. And if you had sent the money, you would never see it again." I gripped the phone so tight my knuckles turned white. He said, "You're so naive, Señora. People like you are easy to fool. You're desperate. You want to believe. That makes you weak." I said, "I didn't send you any money." He laughed again. He said, "Good for you, this time. But next time you won't be so lucky." Then he hung up. He had laughed at me. He had called me naive. He had called me weak. He thought I was going to cry and forget about it. He was wrong. I spent the next 2 hours filing reports, and with every form I filled out, I felt something changing. I wasn't a victim. I was building a case. FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center. I uploaded every screenshot. Facebook. I reported the profile and the ad. I included his exact words. Zelle. I reported the phone number and email address he used to try to steal my money. My bank. I called them, told them everything. They flagged the account. I saved it all. Every message, every photo, every lie. And then I waited. I didn't know if anyone would listen. I didn't know if it would matter. 2 weeks later, I got a phone call that proved it did. The phone rang on a Tuesday afternoon. It was the police fraud unit. The officer said, "Mrs. Santos, I wanted to give you an update." I held my breath. He said, "We tracked the Zelle account you reported. It had been used in scams all across Texas. The bank has frozen it, and we're working with federal authorities." I said, "Did you catch him?" He said, "Not yet, but we're getting closer." Then he paused. "Mrs. Santos, because of your report, we were able to stop 3 other people from falling for the same scam. 3 families, 3 people I will never meet, 3 bank accounts that stayed full, 3 moments of desperation that didn't end in loss, because I made a phone call. The officer said, "A lot of people are too embarrassed to report scams. They think it makes them look stupid. But reporting it helps us catch these people. You did the right thing." I said, "Thank you." He said, "No, thank you." The scammer had called me naive. He had called me weak. He had laughed at me. But I stopped him. Not completely, not forever, but enough to matter. Here's what I learned. Scammers count on one thing: desperation. They create pressure. Pay now. Someone else is interested. Limited time. They want you to feel like you don't have time to think. But that's exactly when you should slow down. When everything feels urgent, that's when you check. You research. You look at the details. You trust your instincts. All those hard lessons I learned before, from Marco trying to take my apartment, from Ricardo disappearing with my money, from Elena using my faith against me. They taught me to be careful, to be skeptical, to pay attention. And that's what saved me. I found a real apartment 3 weeks later. I saw it in person. I met the landlord in person. I checked the address. I verified the lease. I paid the deposit with a check, not Zelle. It's not as nice as the fake apartment. The floors aren't hardwood. The counters aren't granite. But it's real, and it's mine. My daughter Sophia asked me if I was angry about what happened. She said, "I was angry, but now I'm grateful." She said, "Grateful?" I said, "Grateful that I caught it. Grateful that I trusted my instincts. Grateful that all the hard lessons I learned before prepared me for this moment." I am Rosa Santos. I am 48 years old. I work in a hospital kitchen in Houston, Texas, and I don't fall for scams anymore. I want to ask you something. Have you ever had that moment? That split second where something felt wrong and you stopped yourself just in time? Or maybe you didn't stop in time. Maybe you learned the hard way. Either way, I want to hear your story. Leave me a comment below, because every story we share is a warning someone else might need. And if you're apartment hunting right now, slow down. Check the details. Look at the reflections. Subscribe if you want more stories like this. This is Tia Rosa from Houston, Texas, sending you love and reminding you you're smarter than you think.